good Tuesday evening, Tallahassee. I'm Student Meteorologist Lexi Birmingham.
And I'm Student Meteorologist Frazier. It's actually Wednesday, November 2nd, 2016. And
It is Wednesday.
And a little bit cooler than normal that we've been seeing over the past few days, because we did have a lot of cloud cover this morning.
Yes, absolutely. And even some of our friends felt a little bit of a sprinkle
Yes,
today.
we had a slight chance of rain, and it actually happened. It was the first time we've had rain in about 18 days.
I know, since late night after the Wake Forest game was the last time we actually saw some good rainfall. So we have been kind of sitting in a drought, so just to see a nice sprinkle is good enough for me.
Yes, exactly. But sadly, we don't expect to see any more sprinkles anytime soon. We'll probably show you the 5-day later in the show, but we do have a cool down coming.
Yes, we do. We have a cold front that is going to be moving into our area this weekend, and we're excited to finally see cooler temperatures like we did 2 weeks ago.
Yes, and actually more seasonal, because we've been hitting record highs over the past couple of weeks.
We even broke some records.
Yes, we have. Even some that were set just last year, too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But for now, we're actually going to send it out to an overview with Matt.
Thank you very much, guys. We are seeing those nicer conditions start to move into our region. We've got a little hot heat going on today. Look at the weather stem camera. It's still gorgeous out there, though. Low humidity, low. This was yesterday. We didn't see much in the way of cloud cover. You see how these clouds stayed low? There's really not any, there's lots of high pressure, which means sinking air over these clouds. So see this, they're not really getting any height. Today we saw a little bit of a difference. Clouds allowed to rise a little bit. We saw some rain showers in some of our communities. Even here in Tallahassee, we saw a couple traces of rain. Let's look at our current conditions across the tri-state region, though. 83 here in Tallahassee. Pretty much that's the story across the region. 70s in Panama City, 78 in Pensacola, and then 80s around much of the same area. High pressure is just built in, and that'll start to change. Those temperatures are going to get back towards seasonable here in the next few days or so as we see the approach of a cold front. Now, here's where the showers were on our satellite and radar. A couple pop-up showers, your garden variety showers, as we like to call them, and a little bit of cloud cover, too. We saw a little bit more today than we have in the past. Tonight's forecast, though, a quick sneak peek at what we're looking at the rest of the show. 62 degrees, a little bit warmer than what we saw last night, partly cloudy. Those temperatures are still above average, though, and those will start to dive down. Temperatures are going to tank later Thursday into Friday. Here's what we're looking at for the weather headlines, though. Another mild night ahead of us here. Keep the jackets ready, though, because the cold front is on the way, and then say goodbye to the 80s because the cooler temperatures are coming. Just how cool is it going to get? Well, you'll have to stick around for the rest of the show. Jordan, Lexi, what else have you got to tell us?
Well, Matt, we actually have something quite interesting. Back today in 1983, President Ronald Reagan signed the bill establishing Martin Luther King Jr. as a national holiday.
Yes, and we're all familiar with Martin Luther King Jr. He was a civil rights activist that fought for equal rights for both African Americans and white Americans, and his legacy just lives on today, and he's just so inspiring.
Yes, and I was actually surprised to realize how early of a holiday this is.
Yeah, me too.
Even like our parents lived in the time before MLK Day was actually a holiday, so
yeah,
that was really cool to find out.
Absolutely. He gets us a Monday off from school, so that's cool. But yeah, he definitely deserves this. He was such a great aspect in the 1960s for equal rights, and it's just so inspiring, like I said.
Yes, but for now we're actually going to head it out to my local. I have our current conditions popped up right now on the screen. We have under mostly cloudy skies. We've been expecting that and experiencing that throughout most of today. We did have a couple of fog roll in earlier this morning. That dew point and humidity is quite high, meaning that the moisture is certainly in the atmosphere. We do have a slight wind out of the east at about 3 miles per hour, and that is due to a high pressure system bringing us those easterly winds and also bringing that moisture from the Atlantic Ocean, resulting in a couple of showers. Local temperatures around the Big Bend a lot cooler than what we've been seeing over the past couple of days. Some 70s across the board. We have 77 in Quincy and 77 in Bainbridge, and that is due to the rain showers that they are experiencing throughout the region. We're sitting at about 83 degrees here in Tallahassee, about 83 in St. Mark's. A little bit cooler by the coast as always, about 79 in Apalachicola and about 81 degrees in Carabel. There's the dew point. It's quite high because there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. We have lots of cloud cover and possibly some scattered showers. we are sitting at around just about the uncomfortable range for our dew point, about 66 degrees here in Tallahassee. A little bit more moist as you head up north where they have a couple showers, 70 up in Bainbridge and 68 in Quincy. And as always, by the coast, a little bit more moist as well, about 69 in Carabel and 71 in Apalachicola. Here's those winds I was talking about. We have our high pressure system sitting just above the Atlantic, bringing this clockwise motion, pushing our easterly winds and bringing that Atlantic breeze, causing a couple of showers throughout our region. About 3 miles per hour out of Tallahassee, very light. About 5 miles per hour in St. Mark's, a little bit higher in Valdosta, about 7, and about 6 in Thomasville. Here's our current setup. Let me move out of the way. Here's that high pressure system I was talking about. It's bringing that moisture from the Atlantic and bringing it into our region. So we have been seeing higher humidity and higher dew point, and even a couple of spotted showers around campus. Here's our main story. We have a cold front coming into our region. By about Friday morning, it should be pushing its way through, bringing a couple of clouds out throughout the next couple of days. But once it clears, we're going to see highs in the 70s and even some lows dipping into the 40s. So I'm excited to see that. Here's the futurecast for you. I'll put it into motion. We do have a couple of clouds sticking around in our region. Spotty shower possibly tomorrow morning, and even a chance of fog as well as we head into tomorrow morning. So be sure to leave some extra time in case traffic gets bad. Be sure to use those headlights as we head into the morning. By your Friday afternoon, those clouds start to clear out and the clear skies will come in, and it's going to be looking absolutely gorgeous. Here's the boating forecast for tomorrow. If you don't have class, we have a wind out at the northeast about 10 knots, and about waves, a light chop at about 2 to 3 feet. There's your sunrise and sunset for you. Tonight's forecast going to cool down a little bit, but very unseasonal, above average temperatures. Our average is about 51 degrees right now. We're sitting about 62 degrees under partly cloudy skies, and those clouds are going to stick around for the majority of the evening. Tomorrow, we're going to see quite high temperatures too, about low-hanging clouds, so chances of fog, 83 degrees. Last day in the 80s. Here's your 5-day for you. Look at those temperatures as you head later into the week. But for now, let's go ahead and broaden our view with Jake. He has a look at our southeast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jordan. You see all the lower temperatures and the suns on that 5-day forecast. A lot of the same picture across the rest of the region. Starting off with your current temperatures, that high pressure that's affecting us is really affecting the entirety of the southeast. 83 Tallahassee, 84 in Montgomery, 83 degrees up in Tupelo as well. Some spotty cloud cover across the area, as we're going to see a little bit later on in our satellite radar look. The dew points are fairly high as well. The big high is currently centered up near North Carolina. So with this, the clockwise flow also bringing moisture out of the south into areas off to our west. So with that, we have some cloud cover and some scattered showers, even in parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, areas like that. Here's your 24-hour temperature change. Not much going on right now. The biggest departure you see from yesterday is a 4-degree drop in Atlanta. However, once that cold front gets its act together and starts moving its way down towards the southeast, you'll begin to see those blues and purples starting to show up on this map once we get into the day tomorrow and Friday. Here's your current winds, pretty strong across much of Florida, 17 miles per hour out of the northeast. Again, the high driving this clockwise flow around it, and you'll see a lot of those southerly wind components in areas off to our west as well. Tupelo coming out of the southeast at 10 miles an hour. New Orleans out of the east-southeast at about 10 as well. Here's your satellite and radar look across the area. Some spotty showers trying to push through central Florida where the winds have been the strongest, as well as a little bit of moisture near the coastlines of Texas and Louisiana as well. Otherwise, it's pretty much been a partly cloudy day across much of the southeast. You'll see a lot of rain with that frontal system all the way over in the Texas Panhandle, and that is what's going to start to be moving our way in the next couple of days, although not necessarily too much rain along with that, which is a serious problem here with our drought situation. You'll see these really dark red shadings here in parts of Georgia and Alabama. A very significant drought has been occurring over the past couple of months in those areas. Water restrictions, risks to crops, of course, are big concerns with this. We have just about 4% of the southeast covered in this highest category of drought. So again, we really hope that we're going to be seeing some rain associated with this front. Here's the Futurecast radar to see just how much we are going to be seeing. Unfortunately, a lot of that is going to be staying off towards our west. Some rain on Thursday morning in parts of Louisiana and Texas. As the front begins to push its way to the southeast, that's going to start to fizzle out. The rain threat goes away, and you'll be seeing Tallahassee, Montgomery, this, say, diamond shape area. Not really going to be seeing too much in terms of activity as the front passes through Friday morning. By this point, it'll be down in in the peninsula of Florida, and we'll be seeing the cooler temperatures finally making their way in. Tonight, 60 degrees in Savannah, 56 degrees up in Wilmington. Still pretty warm out to the west. Again, that front staying stationary for now, but you'll start to see the temperatures drop once we get past tomorrow. 86 degrees with partly cloudy skies in Montgomery. Again, not too much moisture going on with that. 81 degrees with a little bit more clouds up in Little Rock. Again, the cooler temperatures are on the way. For now, I'm going to take it back to Matt at the desk.
At the studio. But let's get right into what we're talking about here at our solo desk. On this day in history, back in 1947, the Spruce Goose, one of the largest aircraft ever built, was first flown. This was by Howard Hughes, and the wingspan was longer than a football field, larger than a football field. That's a large wingspan. Of course, we're talking about airplanes. This is one of my favorite topics. This was designed to carry more than 700 men into battle during World War II. Howard Hughes is, of course, the aviator who flew around the world in record time in about 3 days, and the Spruce Goose was a large aircraft, had 8 engines. So why exactly are we talking about airplanes? Well, we're getting into the season now where we see a lot of these aviators get on outside, bring their aircraft outside, especially in Florida. A lot of high-pressure days, a lot of days where you have really good weather, so you want to get out flying. Well, that's something that we usually see. So we want you to take those extra precautions. If you happen to have a friend who's a pilot or a friend who has an airplane, we know there's a lot of a lot of communities here that have crop dusters out in their areas. So this nice weather is going to lead to a lot of nice aircraft and all kinds of stuff. So take extra precaution when you're heading on out to fly. Of course, the Spruce Goose, one of the largest aircraft ever built. So check it out. It's actually pretty cool. Nice weather can lead to cool things like tropics. Do we have anything in the tropics, Lexi?
All right, thanks, Matt. We do have a couple systems sitting out there right now, one in the Atlantic, one in the Pacific, but they're looking pretty weak right now. But right now, we're going to take a quick look at this day in tropics history. The last active Atlantic storm on this day today was Tomas in 2010. And now, also, Michelle in 2001, this was the day she strengthened into a Category 1 hurricane, and she eventually strengthened into a Category 4. And this was the strongest tropical cyclone to make landfall in Cuba since 1952. So here are the names that we've seen this past Atlantic hurricane season. We all remember Alex, who developed early in January, one of the earliest hurricanes we saw this season, followed by Bonnie and Colin that slightly brushed by Tallahassee. We all remember Gaston, which was just a fish storm, but the first real Category 3 hurricane. And we all remember Hermine. Hermine was the big one. And then Lisa, and of course we all remember Matthew, the most historic hurricane of this season, and then of course Nicole that hit Bermuda as a Category 4 hurricane. So here's the hurricane climatology right now. You can see only a slight path of where our tropical systems could head, especially when November starts to begin the end of our hurricane season. So here's a system that we're looking at in the Atlantic right now. You can see a couple of high cloud tops just sitting in this area. You can kind of see the shear moving this way, but it only has a 20% chance of development in the next 5 days, and it'll possibly just be a fish storm as it heads deeper into the Atlantic. Now here's our system waiting out in the Pacific. You can see the slight counterclockwise rotation, but again, the same thing with the Atlantic, only a 20% chance of development in the next 5 days. But for now, Jake has more on outdoor events.
All right, thanks a lot, Lexi. Let's have some fun with this. Here's our weather stem camera from North Carolina State University. Of course, our football opponent coming up this Saturday night right outside of Carter Finley Stadium up in Raleigh. Yesterday, about 64 degrees. This image is from yesterday, so you're going to see a lot of clouds, which is really what kept those temperatures down. However, the high pressure is centered near there, so those clouds really started to fade away, leading to a high temperature of 80 degrees today, a pretty significant departure over there. Here is World Series Game 7. We had to forecast for it, didn't we? The Indians taking on the Cubs at Progressive Field in Cleveland. Of course, the Cubs coming back from a 3-1 deficit to force this game in the first place. First pitch at 8 o'clock. Thunderstorms are likely as a cold front is draped across Lake Erie right now. So we'll be seeing a lot of rainfall more towards the later part of the game. Say the 6th or 7th inning is really where we're going to be seeing some of that. Hopefully things don't go severe or anything along those lines. For Thursday Night Football tomorrow night, the Buccaneers taking on the Falcons down at Raymond James in Tampa. Kickoff about 8:30 p.m., 8:25 to be exact. 77 degrees what we're forecasting at kickoff. Mostly clear skies, so looking like a very good night to get out and watch a football game, unlike the situation in Cleveland, unfortunately. Here's your golf index, a 5 out of 5. Again, hey, what can I say? Partly cloudy skies, one more day with the hot conditions sticking around. So it's about time I gave this thing a 5 out of 5. Winds out of the east-northeast at 5 miles per hour. Looking really good for you out there. Here's the sports headlines. Men's basketball hosting its second exhibition game Thursday at 7 o'clock, taking on Valdosta State, of course, in nearby Valdosta. At the Donald Tucker Civic Center. And volleyball will be taking on North Carolina State Friday at the Tully Gym, 7 o'clock. Soccer participating in the ACC Championship Tournament right now in Charleston. They'll be taking on Clemson Friday night. Beautiful conditions for all of those games, so it'll be fantastic if you want to get out to those. Even make the trip up to Charleston and watch our nationally ranked soccer team take on another elite ACC foe. Here's the 5 days ahead. One more time for you, looking really good. Saturday at 74 degrees, and you'll see those lows making their way down into the 40s, something I've personally been waiting a long time for. We got Jordan now looking at the rest of the country.
Thanks so much, Jake. Let's go ahead right into our current conditions. You can play, I love to play this game with you guys. It's called Spot the Front, where we love to spot out where the cold front just hit. You can see this right line right down the Midwest of the United States of where it's hot and where it's cold. We have about 79 degrees. Currently thunderstorms associated with that cold front in Dallas, Texas. We have about 70 degrees up in Kansas City under mostly cloudy skies. Minneapolis starting to cool down a bit at about 60 degrees. Here we are in the East Coast. It's starting to get a little, it's still really warm, but it's going to start to cool down over these next couple of days. About 83 degrees under mostly cloudy skies here in Tallahassee. We're actually about the same as the desert Phoenix, which we've actually been almost higher than them over the past couple of days. Albuquerque only about 71 degrees, and Denver, you're starting to hit the 60s, and even Salt Lake City about 55 degrees. Here's our current dew point. Very dry once you go past the cold front, about 63 up in Kansas City, but once you go just north of the cold front, start to see low dew points and very dry conditions reaching their area. About 32 degree dew point in Denver, 28 degrees in Albuquerque, so very dry conditions there. As you head over to the East Coast, that's a different story here. About 63 degrees in New Orleans and about 60 in Atlanta. About 66 in Miami. They always are very moist over there. Here's the 24-hour temperature change. Again, spot the front. The blue represents a decrease in temperature over the past 24 hours. So just over northwest Texas, start to see a very large decrease. Kansas City, we saw a temperature change of about -6 and a temperature change in Detroit about -10. And just behind it, it's starting to warm up a little bit, about +3 in Salt Lake City and about +4 up in Billings. Here's a national satellite and radar. You can see exactly where that front is located and the storm systems associated with that low pressure system bringing rain to their region. Here's a high pressure system over us that's bringing us that easterly flow of winds and bringing our conditions a little bit spotty showers as we head into the next couple of days. Watches, warnings, and advisories, not much to talk about. These spots of yellow, we do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings associated with those low pressure systems and the cold front. We also do have a significant weather advisory for a couple of those areas as well. A few gale warnings over here by the East Coast and a couple of small craft advisories, and same for the West Coast as well. We have two storm systems, one right over here just in Michigan and Indianapolis. Start to see a couple of severe weather warnings associated with that. We also have one over here by the West Coast just hitting Seattle and starting to see some snow associated with that over in northern Canada. Here's the airport delays. Not much to report. There's absolutely no airport delays, so that's good to see. Futurecast rainfall, just a couple of rain heading into your evening associated with that cold front, especially in Detroit, see about an inch of rain. Tonight's forecast, we're starting to see about 62 degrees in Tallahassee, a lot cooler past that front. In tomorrow's forecast, we're starting to see much of the same temperatures as we were today. But for now, let's go ahead and take it over back to the desk where I'm standing by, and I have some information about a brand new satellite that NASA is launching. We have the GOES-R satellite, and it is a geostationary satellite. And geostationary satellites usually control our weather conditions, and they determine whether or not we've got our visible imagery during the day and infrared imagery at night. It's going to launch on November 16th, so about 14 days from now at about 4:42 p.m. So I'm excited to see that launch. You can also visit nasa.gov for more information about that. It has been 40 years since NASA first launched, NOAA first launched their geostationary satellite. And this is one of 4 satellites that they're going to be launching all the way until 2036. This goes R, and it goes in order of R, S, T, and U, so just following the alphabet. This satellite is supposed to provide advanced imagery, faster coverage, real-time lightning mapping, the first for a geostationary satellite, and improved monitoring of solar activity, which can affect navigation systems and radio systems throughout the nation. It's also going to relay data every 30 seconds back toward Earth, as opposed to every 15 minutes like we are now. So we're going to have advanced storm warnings with hurricanes and everything. So I'm super excited to hear about this, and I'm waiting for the launch in just 2 weeks. So be sure to visit nasa.gov for more information. But for now, we're going to head and take it around Florida, where Matt has our look around Florida.
Thank you very much, Jordan. I appreciate that report on GOES-R. That was pretty cool. I'm excited to see that thing launch. Get some really cool satellite imagery. But let's look at the current conditions across Florida right now, because it's really pretty much carbon copy all across the peninsula. We've had these kind of soupy conditions as we get farther south, higher dew points, higher humidity values, and an 80-degree mark pretty much across the entire state. A couple clouds around, and here's the dew point that we were talking about. 66 in West Palm, again 66 in Miami, 66 in Tallahassee. Wow, this is a lot of 66s here in the dew point region. 65 in Jacksonville, 64 in Fort Myers. So this is right around the area where you start to get towards the frizzy hair for the ladies out there. So this will start to change, though, as we start to see the approach of that cold front. Current heat index, because we're still talking about this, when you have the dew point, you have the humidity, mix those two together with the actual feels like temperature, and you get a little something like this, the heat index. A little bit warmer than what it feels like out there. This is a feels like temperature, 86 here in Tallahassee, 86 in Tampa. And where you don't really see the red show up on our map, that's where the heat index really isn't affecting very much. The feels like temperature doesn't feel very much different than the actual temperature that you will see on the thermometer. So, winds, what exactly do they look like? Well, they're pretty strong out of the east here across the Atlantic waters, and the winds have been really whipping across the entire east coast of Florida, especially in parts of South Florida. Over the last week or so, you get these very strong winds coming off the waters. You even have some coastal flooding in some parts of A1A across the east coast. Look at 17 in Orlando. These things are gusting even higher, 12 in West Palm Beach, 10 in Miami. Now, water vapor. This shows us where the drier air is. We can see that the drier air is starting to get mixed out a little bit with the approach of the more moist air indicated by the green. Now, as that moist air starts to approach our region, it won't stick around very long, though. It will probably be around for maybe a day or two. That's why we saw these showers, a couple spotty showers. There's enough moisture in the atmosphere, just enough, where we can see a firing of the showers, at least some trace amounts of rain. Satellite and radar showing just that, a couple little showers coming in off the Atlantic waters, racing across the Atlantic waters, rather, because of those high winds. And then here, by the time they get to the Big Bend region, they're going a little bit slower, putting down just a little bit of rain in some of the areas that really need it. And Jake even touched on it, that the drought conditions will start to creep into our region. We need the rain just a little bit here. Will we get it? Let's see what our Futurecast radar shows. Really nothing, maybe a couple spotty storms overnight tonight, more so along the East Coast down towards the Atlantic. But really here in the Big Bend, we're not seeing much of that at all, really over the next few days. And then we start to see the passage of the front dries out just a little bit here even more. So a dry weekend, a cool weekend, we like it, but some farmers, they need the rain just a little bit. Tonight's forecast, though, 67 in Tampa, pretty much 60s all the way down the coast until we get farther south with the 70s tomorrow. Another warm day, 80s across much of the peninsula. The sunshine's going to be around in much of the area, though, for Thursday, and really warm day. We've been seeing those record warm temperatures across the region, but we're finally going to see the cool down. We've been talking about it all show. Another thing that we want to talk about is the fair.
The cool temperatures coming just in time. The North Florida Fair kicks off tomorrow night at the North Florida Fairgrounds down Monroe Street in Tallahassee, just south of FAMU, of course. Looking like a fantastic night to get out there early on, of course.
I'm excited about the fair. We'll be out there on Saturday. Well, we'll be out there quite a bit, but us in particular, Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m., we'll be out there with the National Weather Service at their table at the fair.
Absolutely. You want to come out and get some useful weather information, weather safety, things like hurricanes, tornadoes, everything along those lines. You can come to us. We'll be on the east side of the fairgrounds if you'd like to. If you're going to be at the fair and would like to come say hi.
Yeah, we say hi. Maybe we'll sign some autographs, I guess. No,
settle down.
No, we'll get some fried Oreos and we'll have a good time at the fair. I'm excited about the fried Oreos.
Absolutely. I'm excited about the cooler temperatures on the way. Lexi, you got more on that, don't you?
I sure do. In today's almanac, our high we reached today was 84 degrees, not too far off from our record set from last year at 89. Now, we did say we set some records earlier in the week, and unfortunately we did not reach it today. Our low for today was 68, and our record is 28. Now that's super cold. That's below freezing according to the National Weather Service. So current temperatures across the area right now, 83 in Tallahassee, 81 in St. Mark's, a little bit cooler in Quincy and Bainbridge. They most likely saw some spotted showers as a couple of rain clouds move their way into our area. So dew points, still feeling kind of uncomfortable. We were more comfortable yesterday, but today 66 in Tallahassee, 68 in St. Mark's, 70 in Monticello. The higher the number, the more uncomfortable and the more icky it feels. So unfortunately for us, we were taking a break from all that uncomfortable feeling, but today it just came back. So relative humidities across the Big Bend, 76 in Monticello, 58 in St. Mark's, 57 in Tallahassee. Still feeling pretty moderate, but my hair was thanking me yesterday, and now it's just poofing out. I should have used a little more hairspray before I headed out the door today. So our satellite and radar, here are those popcorn showers that we noticed across the Big Bend region today. Little spotted showers here and there, but for the most part, we were just seeing some cloud cover across our area and a few showers off the coast of Jacksonville and even Savannah, Georgia. So here are the futurecast wind and temperatures. Winds are going to be a little bit strong come Wednesday night, but as we move into Wednesday late night and early Thursday, the winds will back off just a little bit and our temperatures will stay pretty nice for the most part. And as we head into Thursday night into Friday, we start to see a wind shift. Now, remember, the high pressure makes our winds go counterclockwise, but the reason for this wind shift is because of that cold front. That cold front is bringing the winds from the northwest and into our area come Friday morning. And pretty much the same pattern for Friday into Saturday. The winds are going to probably go back the way they were in the high pressure, and the winds are just going to strengthen up as Saturday rolls around. So for tonight, it'll be 62 in Monticello, 62 in Tallahassee, partly cloudy skies, and wind coming east-northeast at 5 miles per hour. So it's going to be a beautiful night. Go out and enjoy yourself. And come Thursday, it'll be 84 in Tallahassee, 84 in Monticello, 83 in Tallahassee. You got my cities mixed up. That happens sometimes. But it'll be the last day in the 80s because starting Friday, we will start to see upper 70s and upper 40s for our highs and our lows. So that's super exciting. We're finally seeing fall weather once again. To plan out your Thursday, come 8 a.m., there will be fog in the area, so be careful when you head out the door. It will clear up by noon, and the cold front approaches come 5 o'clock the next day. So here's our week ahead. Here's our last day, 83 for Thursday, and nothing but 70s across the board into the weekend and into next week. But for now, let's close out the show with Matt and Jake.
Thanks, Lexi. I don't know about you. 70s are looking pretty good, but I'm really looking at those 40s.
Oh, the 40s are going to be cool. We had our jackets out for a brief period of time, and then we put them away. We started sweating again. We got the flip-flops out. And now here we are, full circle, bringing the jackets back out.
Ironically, those temperatures aren't even that far off from the average. Yeah. The average low is 51 degrees for today. So getting back to seasonal, which is what we, of course, are wanting to see around here. Of course, you know, I'd like a little bit more rain, like we had today. But you'll see that 7-day, 74 degrees Saturday. That is just a perfect one to get out if you want to watch the North Carolina State football game. Really, the whole 7 days looking picture perfect.
Yeah, that looks absolutely gorgeous, especially if you want to go to the fair or study for a dynamics test like we have to do. But you know what? It's okay. It'll still be gorgeous weather. We're also on social media.
All over the place. You can like us on Facebook.com/FSU Weather, where we'll have all of our social media updates waiting there right for you. We're also on Twitter.com/FSU Weather if you want to check out our weekly trivia questions. They come up every Monday. And, of course, anytime you want to watch us, we are streaming our shows and have them archived on livestream.com/FSU Weather.
That's right. We also have an Instagram page. And although we
Instagram some love.
Yeah, although we haven't posted on Instagram in a while, we will if you send us some viewer photos.
Well, for all of us here at FSU Weather, it's been a good Wednesday. I'm student meteorologist Jay Carstens.
Student meteorologist Matt Reagan. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place.